Welcome, everybody, to another day of our Overwatch one-off tournament here at VESL. My name is Seymour, joined by Twin Salty on the desk. It's day number 2, Twin Salty. How you feeling? Give me a little bit of recap of how yesterday went.
Yeah, yesterday was a nice little start to the tournament here. It was the group stage. Everybody kind of just getting seeded for the knockouts that start today. Had a lot of 2-0s yesterday, which was kind of the story of it seems like all the games, even off stream. But now it doesn't matter if you had an off day. This is do or die. One loss, and you're done.
Simple as that. Cutthroat tournament. You win, you move on, you lose, go home. Maybe you stay home. Depends on where you're playing from right now. But there's a lot to play for, Twin Salty, as we have our prize pool for the tournament broken down into our top 3. For the tournament. It is first place $7.5 thousand, second place $5,000, third place $2.5 thousand, $15,000 overall for a prize pool. It's a hefty one and a lot of teams to kind of keep our eyes out. Do you have any favorites after kind of looking at them yesterday? Anybody who really piqued your interest you could be walking away with that 7.5K?
I won't lie, the two teams that really caught my eye yesterday, we're going to see one of them right away, and that's NYXL. They were absolutely phenomenal yesterday in their game. And, we talked about a little bit, Swag Checked is on this team. They've been around some of the Call of Duty tournaments here at VESL.
Yeah.
But it wasn't them that was the big story. It was Delicate on the Doomfist, who was destroying the entire lobby. Curious to see if that'll happen in this first one. And also, kind of looking at some of the teams here, Noobs and Boops and Palisades as well. They all had very good performances yesterday. So maybe a highlight to what we could see later on.
Exactly. Things to keep our eyes on for sure. And, maybe if Swag Checked and Chicone walk away with some money, I mean, you might as well just add them to the VESL payroll at this point. They're just raking in the cash from Call of Duty, maybe even Overwatch. We're going to have to wait and see because we got still a couple more days of action before we crown our champions. And if you yourself getting through this action needs to, maybe get a little bit of a jump start tonight or a kickstart in your morning, then head over to advance.gg and, use code VESL at checkout for 10% off any of your purchases. Just look at them. They're colorful. They're nice. They help throughout the day. And let me tell you, they got a kick to them. They got a kick to them, Twin.
Yeah, they really do. And, I talked about it even yesterday. That Rocket Pop, it's calling my name. I won't lie to you, Seymour. The Rocket Pop sounds phenomenal right now. Summertime, a heat wave a lot of places right now. That would be just a nice little flavor to start off your day.
Yeah, I'm a big popsicle guy. So, I bet that would taste really, really well. And don't forget that if you are going to choose to get some Rocket Pop yourself, code VESL at checkout. 10% does go a long way, and we are happy to provide here at VESL for both the students as well as you, the viewers. So go check that out for sure. As we're getting ready for our matches today, you kind of hinted towards it a little bit as we have NYXL kicking things off on stream. We're going to be looking at only the round 1 matches today. So we're going to have 4 on stream for your viewing pleasure. And starting off with a team that, you yourself, Twin Salt, you kind of have your eyes on. Lijiang Tower is going to be the setting. What are your expectations for this match?
I'm looking at initially Palisades B. They were able to at least watch NYXL yesterday on this very map to see what they were running. It seems like, what they're teasing right now, not a lot has changed. You got Delicate on the Doomfist, and you're going to have the rest of the team kind of playing a little more range. How do they want to try and attack it? And it seems like they're going to try and punish Delicate on some of these engages with Swan on the Mei, as well as Insomniac on Venture. We'll have to see if that actually works, or if that is just their attempt at trying to defeat the impossible here.
I love the Venture pick. They got a lot of playtime in the grand finals of OWCS Dallas, and it was very fun to see a new character implemented into the meta, especially for the DPS meta right away. So for Palisades B, we can see if they can crack the code against NYXL, as they're going to actually have to fight from the outside of the point. NYXL opting to kind of stay a little bit staggered on point and try to pick their battle here with this Doomfist. They're going to get that early progression as well.
Yeah, NYXL, they're pretty content with this. They're like, all right, we can just kind of chill. All the pressure's on Palisades B to try and push in. They're starting to make their way through, but nothing too subtle yet.
And here comes the Venture. Going to see if he can pave way for that Winston, and that's already a good load of damage. Delicate, good peel into the back line. Insomniac goes down, and so will the Venture. and it's burning the immortality rate away. You're looking to see if you can flip things for NYXL, but they're very happy to stay on point. Nothing really out of the ordinary so far for NYXL. They take things head on and they deal with it manageably.
Yeah, they really do that. Little bit of a bait and switch there from NYXL as Palisades B tries to corner him out by Coast, and Delicate just goes right around and tries to punch him off, and it was a good idea in concept, but it was just the Uno reverse guard getting pulled out by NYXL, and now already 50% and counting on this point, and this is about the start we expected here for NYXL.
Big sleep onto Delicate, but it's a Doomfist. It doesn't matter. Swag check from downtown. Lovely shots coming up from the Cassidy. And on top of everything, already, ultimates being burned here from NYXL, just continuing to lay down the throwdown here against Palisades B, as it is another white cleanup from the Tracer. Hirokin going to finish things off, and this is now leading into what could be last fight territory.
Potentially could be. NYXL only had to use the Meteor Strike there, and honestly that was even more just for flavor more than necessity.
Exactly.
As now Palisades B, they're going to try and get something, but already an Ant Matrix in their face.
Yeah, the Roadhog swap too. Off to Winston. Will it pay off for Palisades as Swan is taking a detour in the fight? Your team's in trouble, Swan, and you need to help. Some Rondo, even with the Nano, gonna fall. Ciccone wins the Kiriko battle. Last fight going to NYXL, a flawless 100-0, just a Swan to clean up, and that's gonna do it for our first point here on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, even though we hyped it up a lot, like this NYXL team definitely one of the favorites going in. It is hard to explain how dominant they can be until you watch a round like that.
Yeah.
So where Palisades B, they're even trying to play it slow. They're trying to bait Delicate in to one of these engaged to try and punish, and it's still not turning into anything. Delicate's playing it perfectly. Ciccone is right there to make sure their tank is staying up. And NYXL continue the perfect run that they've been on so far in this tournament. And you got to think Palisades B, we're probably hoping for Control Center, but instead we'll be heading over to Gardens for round 2, and it's even more of a boot potential here for Delicate on these bridges.
Yeah, but it looks like Palisades B, they're opting in for the full Doomfist counter. You can see a lot of poke presence from Insomniac and Swan swapping off that Venture. Swan moving to the Soldier 76. The Roadhog didn't pay off, but we only got to see it once. So hopefully now that Sarando can bring out the big old hog, first and foremost, see if it pays off for this Palisades team.
Yeah, they're going to go, not even going to test it on bridge. Can you blame them? It was death waiting to happen. And like you said, this hog from some rando could definitely bear some fruit if they're able to land the hook on the Delicate on the engage.
Even on the Tracer, a little preemptive on the hook. It's going to land nothing, and that's going to be Delicate's go-ahead to just say, back off. It's our early point capture. Swag check is caught. Perfect into the trap for some Rondo, opening things up for Palisades, as now they need to figure out a way to get towards this point. Immortality going to be used from Zyphy. And the sleep onto Delicate is going to be enough to break on in. Delicate in a little bit of trouble, but the Suzu at the right moment. Hirokin coming to help out. Both TPS fall for Palisades, and things turning quickly in favor of NYXL with the early capture, now up to 25% and counting.
They honestly did an alright job of trying to nullify Delicate, but it was Hyunkin who was just in the back. Nobody was even looking at them the entire fight, and they're able to farm a lot of damage coming through, and Palisades B just are not able to handle it. And now, going into this next fight, they're going to try and go the same way, but there is already somebody lurking over there. I believe that Hyunkin, who's just hiding on the high ground, waiting to see if that's the direction they go. And honestly, I don't even think Palisades B know exactly yet.
I mean, already 50%. Hurricane now, most likely, looking for that pulse bomb. Target, Delicate, landing the hook. Gonna charge up that punch, but still, Palisades so afraid, rightfully so, to walk across this bridge. So they're going to take the long way around. See if they can catch somebody at these long-range battles, but they need to work fast. Already 72%.
Yeah, and already, dual Ant Matrix, and they're able to find the first.
Yeah, Delicate. Rocket Punch landing a whole lot of damage in. Delicate finds 3. Hurricane uses the Pulse Bomb, but all really just to get that immortality out. Palisades B struggling in the control, and that may be curtains on Lijiang.
It very well might be Insomniac trying to go over to the Tracer. the touch. They're trying to get set up. Zyphy will swap over to the Kiriko as well to try and help, but I think it's all for naught, Seymour.
I think you're right with that one. NYXL, what a lovely presence in game 1 of this series, round 1 of our bracket. They come out strong as expected with this Doomfist composition. You put a lot of focus there onto Delicate, but you just look at the way they play the game. They just have such a good grasp on these fights, with Hirukin poking away in the backline undetected and so often just being that nuisance. And then Delicate happy to go in, take all the focus, and allow the rest of the team to do what they do best. Do damage, heal, everything that they need to do, as long as they're not getting bothered.
Yeah, it was a flawless execution there for NYXL. They know the exact type of style of gameplay they want. And no, it's not the meta that we've seen in OWCS. And that's honestly fine. At this level of play, you're not always going to see that. They have found their niche. And a lot of time in these one-off tournaments, the miniature metas develop. And honestly, they're building it right now with this Doomfist composition.
And for a lot of these schools too, for a lot of these players who, may not have as much experience, as much playtime as, you know, your pro players who do build those metas, you have to work into your own comfort zone. And you see this Doomfist definitely looks very comfortable for Delicate. Everybody else able to play exactly what they need to. I mean, you love to see the Kiriko on top of everything, especially when you're battling up against a Hog. Just so many layers here from NYXL that lead into a very dominant battle. And on the other side for Palisades B, we don't really get to see that. It almost seems like more so an identity crisis for these players, because a lot of those fights, it just seemed like it was the deer in the headlight syndrome. They're looking down the barrel of this NYXL team, and nobody wants to take that initiative and find a way around this composition. And a lot of that focus on a Delicate. I mean, rightfully so, you want to take care of that Doomfist, but Twin Salty, they have to figure out a way to work more as a team and have that direct line right to the points.
Yeah, there is a difference between, yes, they're being a little hesitant because they know what Delicate can do, and they're giving Delicate respect because they saw what happened yesterday. But there is also too much hesitance. Like, they're kind of just stalling their own game plan, and it's giving NYXL enough time to make a new one because they realize, oh, they're looking to see where Delicate is. We can kind of change it up, and that's how you saw Hirun can kind of pop off at times because there was so much pressure on a Delicate, and they were completely fine with it. And going into our next map, that is Blizzard World, I got a bad feeling it's going to be a lot of the same because this first point can be extremely difficult to cap in normal circumstances, let alone where you have a Doomfist flying around.
Fortunately for Palisades B, you kind of take out that niche of, control where there's a lot of choke points. There's only certain areas where you can really start your fights. When you look towards Blizzard World, the hybrid map of choice for this team, it opens up a world of opportunity when you're looking at, kind of narrowing in towards those pole compositions. You could definitely see a Sigma come out here. That would be fantastic against Delicate. Continue with that Soldier. Just kind of ring out the damage here and try to make sure that Delicate has to take a long, prolonged, I guess, expedition to reach your back line and kind of make that effort. There's definitely opportunity here for Palisades B. So I don't mind this choice going towards Blizzard World.
No, I honestly don't mind it at all. Like you said, you can go a little more long range. I didn't mind them trying the Cassidy Soldier over on Gardens. It's kind of hard on that map because it is a little more closed in. There is only, like you said, so many different ways you can kind of go at it. With this on the attack especially, you can try and keep that range and see if, hey, are they going to try and engage early? If so, we can really punish, as it's a long way to get back to point. So it's definitely a potential here for Palisades B, who I bet, Palisades A team as well are taking a lot of notes during this game in case they do face NYXL later on, if NYXL are able to clinch this one out. I'm guessing the A team at Palisades are taking a lot of notes, and they're going to take a very similar standpoint to what we saw, but NYXL, they're going to keep it long range as well.
Yeah, and you just look at the composition put together here by NYXL, even down to the support line, the Baptiste Mercy. We've been seeing a lot of Baptiste play, at least these days around. Baptiste definitely kind of bringing it back, and you mix that in with a Mercy. You had the Kiriko even last time. That is good synergy. I was a little bit worried seeing the Moira Ana pick from Palisades, but it's going to be kind of quite similar in that whole stance. But Chikoni on this Mercy looking to damage boost Hirokin and Swag checked on the Sojourn and Ash.
Yeah, this could be even more dangerous because they can just chill on this high ground, and if you can't find enough pressure up there, it could be a very long day at the Officer Palisades. As yeah, already 2 are done.
Yeah. And that Baptiste coming into full effect there. Swan's going to get caught with Sombra and the immediate disengage. But NYXL, they don't want to allow anybody to stay alive. They go for the remainder. And no one left standing at the end. Palisades sent back to spawn. And looks like Delicate is getting a little bit extra ult charge for the sports.
Yeah, it's giving Ryan Plays a little bit of ult charge. It's like, why not? I know I killed you early last. But, you know, be a little bit of a charity effort there. But, yeah, NYXL, this is a perfect spot to be in. It's going to be up to some rando to try and jump up there, get a little bit of pressure in for Swan and Insomniac to try and capitalize with that Mercy Pocket, like you said, could be a critical factor.
Yeah, so some Rondo looking to be the, I guess, starter for the fight there for Palisades B, but nobody really to follow up. The Kiriko so disconnected. The Moira not able to cut that distance in time, and Swan Insomniac taking a totally different route. Palisades B, I mean, they are in shambles right now. Not really looking to play together as much as I was hoping to see.
Yeah, you could tell, like, sometimes, right now, they're trying to see if they can get Delicate before they get up, but Delicate knows exactly what they're doing. They know that they have Velfate, who's sitting right there, can heal them up throughout the entirety of it, and Swag Checks can find them when they're not looking.
Something about a Ashe with a Mercy latched on is just so scary. Not as scary as it used to be, but it's still just as scary, I'd say. Swan's going to be taking a detour. Going to see if you can get on towards this Ashe Mercy Baptiste, but you look at the peel from Delicate just to be there in time. Insomniac not going to be able to hack that Ashe just yet. Swag Check still big chilling and still poking away at these players. Ryan Play's going to be caught in the rotation. Swag Check now with the ultimate. Do we see the Bob? As it is going to be the gates thrown down from the side of Palisades B. Mounts to nothing. Delicate again shutting them down at the beginning.
Yeah, this is the NYXL we know. Like, right, this is the NYXL that we were kind of expecting going into today. And Palisades B, don't get me wrong, they're trying to pull everything out of the book. They got the Sombra out right now, the Roadhog, and nothing's working because a lot of the issue this game is Swag Check. They're really pulling in the aim this time around. The Mercy Pocket's making a giant difference. And even though, yes, Delicate's the big shiny distraction that's kind of jumping around, it really is Hyunkin and Swag Check who are really killing Palisades from range.
Yeah, the good old decoy Doomfist. Working like a charm. Early Coalescence in. No real engage already. Coalescence done, and that's Delicate's time to just jump on in. Everybody thrown into the corner. Now, Felfate catches the cross. Zyphy goes down. Delicate jumps right in there. Both supports gone, and that is just mincemeat now in the corner. Everybody again falling for Palisades B. 31 seconds.
31 seconds to try and get something to go, and Insomniac, they'll make the swap off the Sombra onto the Tracer to make sure there's at least a touch on the point. But Delicate still chilling. Are they getting one off? Finally, they do. Swan takes a little bit of a dip, and that was one they really needed to stay up, as that Tac Visor may not even be able to get used at this point.
Insomniac now needs to dodge force for the recall. It just seems like the time gonna drain. Nobody can spot the touch. Flawless. NYXL stay as they hold Palisades B at the gates. I don't think anybody even died.
That's a great question, actually. I don't even know. I don't think anybody did, off my memory at least. I know nobody touched the point. Like, I thought maybe Insomniac would be able to get over there, but they got coach guns, they got low, and then we're not able to touch in the dying moments. But yeah, this is an insane run NYXL have been on the last 2 days, and I got a feeling they're going to keep marching on to tomorrow.
Incredible efforts here from NYXL. Palisades B still just trying to figure something out. You see the Bastion for Swan. Imagine they've already walked out with this one. Insomniac sticking towards the Cassidy, Zyphy, Baptiste alongside the Ilari. That's another thing too. Ilari hero that we did see a lot of back in Dallas, and a lot of playtime on this support. It is just similar to the Baptiste, so the amount of resources you have as a support when it comes down to the damage dealing as well as the healing. Maybe with Ryan plays sticking towards this, having a little bit more range than that Moira, hopefully this can pay off.
I honestly love that Illari is getting more playtime. Like, they're such a cool hero, and I'm glad people are figuring out, like, hey, you can actually use her extremely well, even at the top tier of play. And some rando being on the Orisa, you can tell it's going to be the jab spin away to try and hit the jab onto the Doomfist as they're trying to go in. But we've seen it so far these last 2 days. The concept can be great. It's the execution that still needs to be there.
Well, Orisa, not as strong as she once was. Delicate's going to go in. Swan looking to slow, but swag checked already, finding Ryan plays there with the right click. Secondary fire is going to be in. Delicate still holding that focus. Delicate finds Insomniac, and now that's a DPS down for Palisades B. Some Rondo going to get run through. Valfake going to finish off Swan, and everybody knocked down. 5 up, 5 down. Point is capped, and that's an NYXL 2-0.
NYXL, they stay perfect in the tournament so far. It'll be all 2-0s so far for them, and what a journey they will be on. Quarterfinals is the next destination tomorrow, as they'll play the winner of the NCVA Bears and Nerf Genji in the quarterfinals. And man, what else can you say about this team? Everybody had their little time to shine. It was Delicate on map 1. Honestly, it was the backline that really had the time of their lives here on Blizzard World, and it is sad to see Palisades B go, especially when they had a very tough draw in NYXL, but there is a reason why NYXL are the favorites so far.
There is, and you know, in the grand scheme of things, when you're looking at this, if you want to be the best, you got to beat. If you want to be the best, you have to beat the best to win Salty. And you know, even though you draw NYXL now, you would have eventually. And to see them go up against, obviously for Palisades B, you don't want to hold your head down low for this one. A lot to take away from that match, a lot to look at there from the way that NYXL played it, and ways you can take from that and add to your own. So excited to see the way that they bounce back into maybe the next one-off tournament that we have for Overwatch 2. But for NYXL on the other side, I think I'm now kind of right alongside you with the not only the Delicate hype train that you had, but for the whole team. They just look like they are locked in.
Yeah, they are really playing on another level right now, and honestly, I'd be shocked if we don't see them on Thursday playing in the semifinals. I'd honestly be shocked. Granted, you know, Nerf Genji, they had some moments yesterday. If they're able to take down the virtual Bears in their round of 16 game that's currently ongoing, but there is a lot of things you need to counter on this team, and there's only so much time for teams to prep. And it can just be extremely hard when a team is this polished at something that is not very typical in a normal ranked game. It can be very hard to try and find the answers to it very quickly.
Well, we're going to be studying into the next match to see if we can find some answers elsewhere as we're hopping towards a break and we get set up. And when we return here for VESL in our one-off Overwatch 2 matchup, it is going to be Ouroboros versus the well-known. So stay tuned. You're watching VESL. We got Overwatch 2. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back, everybody, to the one-off VESL Overwatch 2 tournament. My name is Seymour. With me is Twin Salty, and we just got done with our first match between Palisades B and NYXL. Twin, that game was kind of a little bit one-sided. And, you know, we mentioned and we named everything that we could for the NYXL team. We gave them their flowers. You got to move forward now and see if there's a team that can really step up and battle against NYXL. Look to be that new team that everybody's got their eyes on. We're looking at Ouroboros versus the well-known now.
Yeah, Ouroboros versus the well-known, two teams who did not finish top nor bottom of their group. So got a little bit to prove here in the round of 16. I'm actually really excited. We didn't really get to see any of these teams yesterday, or at least a lot. So very curious at what they're trying to lean to, as so far today, even in the games off stream, it's been 2-0s everywhere. It's causing to be almost like a pandemic in the bracket. So we'll see if this will be maybe a 2-1 here in one of the team's favors.
Yeah, everybody's just allergic to game threes. I personally am not. I know you're not either. I shouldn't assume that. I imagine you're not either. We're very welcoming for map threes here on the desk, and we want to see them. Maybe even a map four if they would give it to us very kindly in that tiebreaker setting. But I just want to see something go past a map number two today. That is all I am asking from anybody. And for two teams that you and I now we get to sit back and kind of enjoy learning about them while we get to watch them. I think this is going to be exciting to see what they really bring to the tournament because we got to see that Lijiang Tower match between Palisades B and NYXL. And Palisades B were really struggling against that Doomfist composition. Do you expect to kind of want to see another Doomfist comp come inbound from one of these teams?
Maybe not in this one. I could see maybe later today. I don't know. Doomfist, I kind of said a little bit yesterday. It's either you exceed at Doomfist, like Delicate, or you feed on Doomfist, like when I try and play Doomfist at rank. So it's like,
Me too.
There is like that, that pivots. Okay, is it worth trying to pull that out right now? A lot of times, if you're not comfortable on the Doomfist, but you still want to run dive, we'll see either the Winston or the Diva. Winston's been really apparent as of late. Even though I can't fully put out Wrecking Ball, we saw it a little bit from the OWCS Asia teams in Dallas. It's not the most conventional either. It kind of takes a special player like Junbin to play it, but at this rate, I wouldn't be shocked to see anything.
I think Wrecking Ball would be a little surprising for a tournament like this. It takes a lot of coordination to pull off a Wrecking Ball composition. And to kind of walk out and just kind of lay that down, I would be very surprised to it. Winston always finds himself into the meta, so I'm not surprised to see good old Winston come out. But it's a couple of hovers here. It looks like a Winston comp versus a Doomfist comp here from both sides. We got Ouroboros on the left, the well-known on the right. So we're heading right back in towards Lijiang Tower, round one.
Yeah, it'll be Night Market to start off, and it will be the Doomfist actually being pulled out from Cheese. And it will be Ouroboros will just TP right on over and invite Cheese to the points.
Welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay, Cheese. It wasn't very long, but that's what I love to see. We don't usually get to see the teleport strat off Lijiang these days. The early setup hasn't really been known as Dive has been kind of carrying Overwatch 2 for a little bit, but I love that from Ouroboros, an early setup now.
Yeah, early setup, they got the turrets in place, and this could be really tricky sometimes for teams to push into when you have those turrets. There's Sasuke almost dies early, but Cheese now on the Ram might be a little bit easier to walk in with.
It is. Well, here we go. Jack the Bird looking to disrupt. We got teleported down, but everybody from Ouroboros just looking to bunker onto site. A couple players going low. Sasuke close to falling, barely staying alive. It's actually Boger to be the first one to fall, but in retaliation, Ouroboros Wesker just beaming them down. The Symmetra coming in handy. Persona finishes off the Ramatra, and Ouroboros, they hold strong.
They hold on, and Wesker, a massive part of that. As soon as that Symmetra beam really gets to a high level, it can be extremely difficult to try and outlive it, and that we saw right there. Commission will give up on the Cassidy. They're going to go over to the Bastion now, so it'll be even more of an impact for Jack the Bird. They're going to have to play way more safe with their bubble and their own positioning.
Well, here we go. Smurfs, as well as Commission. Let's see if they can burn down this tank. Lovely shot there. Smurf going to catch the head of Wesker. Symmetra's down. Now, angry Winston on the case. Commission burns through it. Boger in trouble. Teleport not out of the lane of this Ramatra just yet. The Annihilation catches two on the escape, and the well-known will flip this point.
Yeah, Persona's going to be wanting that sound barrier back. I won't lie, Seymour. It just caught them. They were trying to hit it on the Boger and Sasuke, but they were just on the outside. And I was curious if we were going to get this. Jack the Bird will go over to the Malga. We've seen a lot of Malga in the OWCS meta and in Collegiate as well. And now it's going to be making its VESL debut.
It's not the Symmetra TP you're looking for, but the right click, welcome there is Smurf. Cheese and Commission with the full wrap around. The rotation is good to catch two off guard. Now into the backline, the supports unnoticing of this Ramatra. It's too little too late. A couple go down there from the well-known, but that is a fantastic cleanup, barely using their ultimates there. You got to see a couple get invested, but you're coming up on two as well for the well-known, so they have a good bank going on.
They have an incredible ult bank, especially if they can get Annihilation from Cheese relatively quickly. The issue for Ouroboros is going to be trying to deal with Commission, but they're going to just jump right on him.
I love this. Jack the Bird just dropped right into enemy territory, and they used the Kitsune Rush as well as the Symmetra wall to kind of section off this point, allow for the Mauga to really get into the deep end. That was a fantastic retake from Ouroboros.
Yeah, just teleport right in. Don't allow them to set up. Just jump right on in. You can pop the Adrenaline Overdrive and just burn down Commission. They're going to use their Artillery Strike early. And it's going to be right onto Persona. Gets him low, but doesn't kill.
Ogre, though, ends up going down. Here's the Annihilation. Cheese. Will it pay off? It seems like it will. Mauga falls, and so will Wesker. Sasuke, the only one here to maybe do some last-minute damage, but there is no consolation kill. We do get a last-second capture from the well-known, so they hold on to this first point.
There'll be one fight remaining. They were looking for the TP, but they don't have to anymore. Wesker off the Symmetra, going to match the Bastion from Commission. So it'll be a lot of pressure on the Cheese. They may have to guard a little bit more, but Jack the Bird, yeah, no hesitation.
No, why would there be? Sasuke, though, lovely shot there with the area. The arrow is going to be resurrected, and Sasuke from the grave investing with the dragons. That's going to catch Cheese. No more tank, and there's no chance for Ouroboros, or sorry, for the well-known to actually get that res now. Sasuke, a second one, Commission goes down. In comes the cage. Everybody in trouble. Overtime is procced, and the candle is draining. Ouroboros, they take things back, and they walk away with their first point.
What a nice little turnaround. The counter swaps after counter swaps from both sides. But like I said, Ouroboros, 100-99, take Night Market. And man, I hope this series is this close. Man, we've been wanting this the last few days. A series just like this, and going over to Control Center for the next round. And honestly, if you're Ouroboros, you might as well stick the Mauga. It's been working great once you swapped onto it. Cheese has kind of been nullified to a decent degree. But it seems like, well-known, they're going to try it one more time. And little do they know, Ouroboros will actually swap off the Mauga. They're not going to stick with it. And arguably is even better for the well-known.
Yeah, I do like this. Sasuke towards the end really picking things up as well with this Hanzo. Early pick onto the Kiriko, drains that res. The well-known struggling in the long run of that fight now with the Zarya. Jack the Bird frontline here. See how much charging you get. Both bubbles used. Cheese stays alive. Suzu invested, and Wesker's just gonna run down that Ramatra. Now without the tank, there is just no presence from the well-known.
There is no presence, especially with Sasuke. They're hitting shots like that on the Smurf. It's going to be extremely hard for the well-known to push in. They're just going to give it up for now. Cheese goes over to the Reinhardt. Going to try and be a menace in the front, but got a feeling Wesker's still going to be a big issue to deal with. Hence why Smurfs are going to go on the Cassidy as well.
Not going to be easy to put this Reinhardt to the test. Lots of ground to cover. And it looks like he's going to take an unconventional area. No Wraith Walk for the Reaper. Unfortunately, though, Smurf not going to be able to walk away with that kill. Boker coming to the rescue. It's a trade of players, but Sasuke taking down the second DPS. Tracer goes down, and now no damage for the well-known really to put up a threat. Cheese is in trouble. Everybody looking to catch this Reinhardt. 40% and counting for Ouroboros. Now they're coming up on ults.
Coming up on ults, and well-known doing a little bit of hero roulette. On the DPS line will be Commission taking over the Cassidy duties, and Smurf going over to Bastion to try and burn those bubbles down, but that was just Ouroboros playing it really well, and as soon as Wesker is able to get that kill, everybody else just went in to follow.
Scarab waiting out that tank config. And it looks like it's going to last, but you do see the Mercy ult hoping to keep Smurf alive. It won't. Cheese goes down as well. As the Ana going to catch the tank, and Death Blossom at the ready for Wesker just in case, but there's no need to use it at this point. They're winning these fights without the ultimates.
Yeah, and if you can, there's a bonus here for Ouroboros. No ults needed to be used. They're going to have 4, and this next one could be like almost an old school Beyblade with the Nano and the Death Blossom coming in from Wesker and Persona. Could cause a lot of issues for the well-known.
Going in for the Shatter. Wesker waiting to drop. Here's the Kitsune rush, and Super Fat Kid ends up falling. Cheese looking to do some real damage, but it's not going to pay off. The Dragons mixed with the Death Blossom. Sasuke finds 3, and Ouroboros a lot more convincing in the second round of Lijiang Tower. They take Command Center. They take the map.
That was definitely them in their comfort zone. That is for sure. As they were just able, this Death Ball composition, it really caught the well-known off guard. This was the beginning of that, especially able to go in with commission, but it just wasn't enough on this map in the end as the well-known fall the fight after. But okay, I like that. At least a lot of counterplay being used compared to last series. Well, it was, you know, it was Doomfist, and then it was Palisades B just trying to figure out how to deal with the Doomfist. This time around, it was counter picks after counter picks, and it was Ouroboros who eventually just found their niche.
Yeah, and you and I were a little bit skeptical at first for the Zarya swap into the Command Center. You know, some players love Zarya, some just cannot get the concept of Zarya. But when you're kind of thinking back to round 1 in comparison of round number 2 for Lijiang Tower, you don't really get that same fashion of counter swapping against a Zarya who is just so formidable against multiple different tank opponents. And you really kind of see the DPS really stand out in that zone when you have that support from a Zarya. The bubbles mixed in onto Wesker playing that Reaper, Sasuke landing some nasty shots. Everything just came together for this team on Command Center. It's things you love to see if you're a fan of this Ouroboros team. And for the well-known, back to the drawing board for them. I'm curious where they're going to take us for this hybrid in map number 2. Do you have anything you'd like to see from, you know, maybe some strengths from that first round that we saw from them?
So from that, if they want to lean maybe into the Ramatra, obviously, you know, King's Row is going to be the one that pops in your brain right away because it's all reliable. It's arguably the most scrimmed map, maybe next to Lijiang Tower in the entire game. If they want to maybe go into that, they definitely could. The other 2 options are Midtown and Blizzard World. Midtown is maybe a little new still for some of these high school teams. You know, a lot of teams kind of just push it away because it can be a little annoying to play on the offense, especially when you get to Streets phase. But if they want to show us the poke, they haven't really showed us that at all. That could be something that they're very comfortable with on the streets of New York.
Yeah, no, Midtown's not a bad show for this one. A little bit worried because we saw a really comfortable swapping from the side of Ouroboros towards the end of that night market. And for something like Midtown, when you do have that ability to not only hold that range when it comes down to those long range battles, it's also the chance to see possibly an Echo, maybe even a Pharah. And they already had no, sorry, it was the well-known that took out the Mercy, but it's still the chances on Midtown for that. I think King's Row is something that you'd love to see from these teams, and it seems like we are going to Midtown, so we're going to have that chance to see those poke battles come out on Midtown, and hopefully this is the case for well-known where we can see them really step up and push to a map 3.
And we do also have a sub going in. Boger will be subbing out. Talal will be subbing in. So maybe a set play, maybe only on control. They want to have Boger in. They'll bring in Talal for more like the hybrid and escort game modes. Or if it is like, hey, we're feeling good, we're just going to sub in Talal. Maybe they can keep that momentum going if you were Ouroboros. So, you know, I'm mixed on it, to be honest, depending on what they actually want to do. Because, you know, you had a very convincing control center. And Boger was a great part of that, so maybe it is just them wanting to be more aggressive with it. But I'm curious how Talal is going to want to actually engage here, because sometimes when you go in a little cold, you kind of just watched map 1, you're not really playing. It can be a little bit of a difference going into a series against a team who's, you know, been playing that entire map 1, and they're already kind of in their groove.
Yeah, I think that, you know, for sure it's a gamble when you're looking at it, but you got to trust the process sometimes. For a lot of these players, and for those at home who are watching and enjoying, you have to trust VESL to hook you up with the goods as well. And if you yourself want to check out some goods from VESL, go check out advanced.gg, where you could use code VESL for 10% off. You shop at advanced.gg, and you can go check out and pick up some Rocket Pop. You can pick up some hydration there at the top, some matcha green tea, so many different flavors at advanced.gg for you to look at. So many good flavors as well. It's that energy boost to get you through the day, to kickstart your morning, or maybe even enjoy some esports and just watch and hang out.
Yeah, a little bit for everybody. You know, if you don't need the energy, hey, you got the hydration supplements on there. And, you know, even at a long day's work, sometimes you just need a little bit of that to go with. So make sure you check it out. Use code VESL. That 10% off can go a long way, especially depending on how much you buy. You know, I might buy, you know, too much after this stream gets done, considering how good it looks. But I'm definitely down for Midtown here. I do think this is at least definitely a pivot. You're going to see more of the Doomfist. They even showed, you know, the Doomfist on Li Jiang before, like, all right, they have Sim. That's, you know, no fun for a Doomfist to try and push into. We see, you know, we did see how that went, the very first attack. So maybe on the attack, they want to go more the dive route. And I also think that's maybe not the most horrible situation because King's Row can be a little difficult. Blizzard World, you know, is a map that is very love or hate, depending on who you kind of talk to. So I don't mind it here, going to Midtown for the well-known to try and extend this out to map 3 and break the 2-0 curse that's been kind of looming over the last 36 hours.
It's a lot of versatility for sure for a map like Midtown, so we can see what kind of experiments they're bringing out. They are going to be hovering that Doomfist again for Cheese, which we did see them come out on Night Market with originally. The only thing for the well-known that, you know, we did miss back on Night Market was that synergy when it came down to these compositions for dive, and Midtown's kind of a big one where that synergy can get mixed up very early if you're not a put together team. So you have to look towards, you know, the well-known to really be behind this Doomfist and really follow up a lot of these plays.
Yeah, I wonder how quickly Super Bat Kid will try and swift step into some of these, or if they're gonna try and play the long range game still.
Early TP.
That might be something to look. Yeah, early TP. And also a quick note, Talal is actually on DPS. So Wesker does a role swap over to support. Okay. And it'll be Talal stepping on DPS. So maybe that's the sub why they want to do it. Talal actually maybe going for more of this double range look on the DPS line.
Seems like we might get another TP out for the team as they're looking to flip this map. Except a little bit of a car wash indoors. Cheese keeping all the attention. Commission has gotten around. Talal's going to be the first one down. And now for Cheese, this is where the Doomfist can put a lot of damage into this team. Persona ends up falling to the rocket punch. Sasuke's in trouble. Only one's up is Jack the Bird, but the Roadhog goes down, and so will the point.
I'd say the gamble worked off pretty well so far, Seymour. It took them a few seconds to figure out how they wanted to do it, but what a great execution there for the well-known. 5.5 minutes on the time bank, and Ouroboros got a lot of figuring out to do as that TP. Yeah, this is going to be a little more of a nuisance, but a lot of swaps coming in now. It'll be Zarya, Baptiste, and the Cassidy all being pulled up. But Cheese already has the Meteor Strike available. They can be a little more aggressive and just use ult to get out if they choose.
Yeah, I don't mind this for Jack either. A lot more support from the Zarya when it does come down to these bubbles. The Wesker Commission's going to find yet another pick. Rocket Punch keeping Jack the Bird in the corner. Bubble is burned, and that should be Zarya off the table. Cheese looking for more as everybody is reeling back from the side of Ouroboros, the well-known, just paving through Midtown so far, and they are easing this fire truck closer to the second point.
This is a ridiculous pace, especially for Midtown. To have 4.5 minutes, you're already going through Midtown Tunnel, and you're in a very good spot with Valkyrie already online to keep the momentum going.
Well, the Mauga now for Jack. Zarya just didn't cut it. And she's going to have to be careful of the relentless damage from both the Sojourn, the Mauga, and the Cassidy just continuing to lay it down. So she's going to be the first one to fall. Ends up getting resurrected by one lonely Dio. So another chance for the well-known to maybe regroup and hit this quickly.
Yeah, because Wesker died during that fight. At this point, though, they should be able to get back here in just a few moments. So it'll be back to a 5v5, but almost the wall available for Smurf. If they just want to block off that back line, but they almost die for it.
Deadeye for Sasuke. Good Suzu there, but she's gonna take this one, and Cheese goes down to Talal. The railgun invested alongside the Deadeye. It's a clean 4.
And it is just Smurfed all alone in the back, and yeah, they will get taken out just the same. The gamble from Sasuke to be like, all right, no, my team's got me here. I'm just going to settle in, make sure I can actually get this Deadeye to have some use, and it works perfectly as they're able to find 2. Talal is able to find 2 as well. and it forces the well-known off of the Doomfist. That is a sigh of relief, but seeing the Bastion Sigma is probably a sigh the other way around here, as that could be really tricky if the range is kept. Jack the Bird could really struggle to actually push it.
Early sim wall. Barrier going to split this point. A lot of natural cover, though, to use. Cheese looking to gain some space here. As Commission on the height. Coalescence ready for Persona. As well as this Amp Matrix Persona. They're going to find Commission without that Coalescence being invested just yet. Now, here we go. Cage as well. Cheese going to be trapped and mixed with that Coalescence. There's nowhere to go for these players. The well-known wiped again, as they have been halted on the second point. 2 minutes and 30 seconds now.
It is just so tough when you get into the cage fight. It is so difficult just to live, especially when you have a Coalescent for Persona just on the outside. They don't even need to fully commit. They can just chill in the safety outside the cage, and it's just nearly impossible. And the well-known, I think they almost just give in. Cheese will just go over to the Mauga themselves. So now we got a Malgamir on our hands, looking more and more like the top tier of play. And it could be the benefit now with Ana from One Lonely Dio. With these Bionades on Jack the Bird, going to force them to play a little more safe, but already Persona finding one.
That's Persona again opening up these fights with a pick. Smurf to end up going down. That's the soldier out first, but the Bionade does pay off. Cheese runs down Jack the Bird. Amp Matrix now is a Hail Mary from the side of Ouroboros on top of Sasuke's Deadeye. Will it work? Cheese falls. Sasuke holds on. Now from above, the artillery gets through the immortality. Commission gets 2. Only ones left is Tala as well as Persona. Jack the Bird's gonna get back in time, and now for the Nano onto the Bastion. It's enough damage for Commission to get all 5 members and capture this second point.
I don't know if they're done yet, Seymour. They're gonna find a Wesker on the exit. What a nice little play there from Commission. They take their time. They realize, hey, once this first artillery strike shell hits, they're going to have to continue to back up, and that's when the other two are going to strike, and more changes going to be made by Ouroboros as Wesker goes over to the Zenyatta instead of the Kiriko. It is a massive gamble, actually, because Persona will be taking the Kiriko role. That Discord orb will be on Cheese a lot of the time. You just gotta hope you can actually finish it off before it's too late.
And the Suzu from Persona, hopefully to help Jack the Bird deal with these Bionade issues. Cage match. Cheese brought in. Jack's also going to drop his cage, and Cheese low on health, not able to outlive that Discord orb, doing so much for the team, breaking through the barriers and finding their way back onto this point. Yeah,
it'll just be a nice little just pause here for the well-known to try and get their bearings back together and have ultimates, honestly, to work with. Both DPS ults, if they can win the fight after that. You got both support ultimates. With only a minute and a half left, it's a lot of pressure onto the well-known to try and to make this work because they have the ults in their favor.
Here we go, the Sigma swap for Cheese. Has been back and forth. That's Wesker low, caught out by Cheese. No support now for that. Artillery bars mixed in with the accretion. Catches Jack the Bird, and that's going to be the Mauga down. Tala's up top, and Sasuke only able to find Smurf. Tala luckily able to reel away and a kill onto Cheese. That's surely going to slow down this team, as well as leave them a little high and dry on this point. They're going to try to push this payload as far forward, but how long can they hold on with Jack the Bird coming back? Commission's going to look for another exit kill, but nothing to fall. Everybody gets back, and Ouroboros able to restabilize.
Especially, they're able to keep Transcendence, and they're able to keep Kitsune Rush. That's the giant win for Ouroboros. I don't mind the well-known. You try and get that cart at least around the corner. It can be a really tricky spot to play around. But the downside is you don't really have a whole lot of time to actually get to this point now because of you deciding, hey, we're not going to back up. We're going to try and commit to this fully. Watch out. Double Kitsunes could be used early here just to try and set the teams up. And there's the first.
There we go. Gates are open. Deadeye from Sasuke just lurking in behind. Sasuke unknowingly going to find 2. Commission and One Lonely Dio going to be caught by that. Jack the Bird going to take down the Kiriko now for the railgun to finish off these finishing touches. It's not going to be done just yet. She's still holding on. Not going to be able to land that ultimate there. Well known still in this fight, looking to maybe get a last-minute caption as you do get Commission swapping over towards this Tracer in a big battle, looking to hold on as long as possible, maybe push this card a little bit farther, but it doesn't look like that's possible as everybody's going to drop, and that payload to be stopped at 87 meters.
Yeah, it was just too many exit frags there. Just kind of tear the chances of that attack finishing off down in the dumps. But honestly, still a pretty decent stall there from the well-known to get it almost all the way. It's a lot of pressure now on the Ouroboros on their attack to try and find the momentum back. I won't lie, that was a risky Deadeye in the back. That was very risky coming in from Sasuke. Able to find the 2, and that at least sets up the possibility of the re-engage for Ouroboros. The big question is for the well-known, do you try and stick now with that Sigma that worked really well? Do you try and change it up? And it will be a slight change for them. It'll be Cheese going over to the Diva, maybe almost going like the counter dive, getting ready for it, anticipating that Jack the Bird will be making that return to the Winston.
Okay, so we're missing the Wrecking Ball. We're missing the Junker Queen. We've almost seen it all for the tank swaps between both of these teams.
Yeah.
I think this is our first. No, we saw Jack the Bird come out onto the night market with the Winston. So Ouroboros going for a more natural dive composition with Persona on the Lucio as well. This might be a little scary for the well-known if they're not prepared for it.
Yeah, especially if they're not ready for how quickly this engage will be. It's going to be a lot of pressure on the Super Bat Kid to make sure, hey, that protection Suzu, you cannot waste it. You got to make sure it gets value on it, but also don't hesitate. It's that weird dichotomy of you want to hold on to it to when you need it, but you got to make sure you don't waste it.
You got to get that sweet spot. Sasuke looking for heads, and nice little dink is going to be the go-ahead for Jack the Bird to launch into the backline. Hindered, though, has to wait it out. Bubble dropped, and Sasuke's going to catch Smurf. Good dance there from Jack the Bird to restabilize. His Commission's going to be jumped on. One Lonely Dio going to fall, and Jack doing enough to get the team to the point. Diva's out of Mac. Commission is down. Tala gets in behind. And what a lovely break there from Ouroboros to take the point.
They're almost going to have the exact same time bank as well, Seymour, going into Streets phase. That's something you really don't see very often at all. But like you said, they were not ready for the pace of that attack. Jack the Bird, relentless, going into the backline, and it just was too much for the Kiriko Mercy heals to try and deal with. One Lonely Deal will go over to the Ana now. Will be able to help Cheese a little bit more from a range. But also, they have at least a little bit of self-defense in case they get dove on from Talal or Jack the Bird.
His Devo Reaper is the right call against this Winston. It's just the DPS that you're struggling for. Sasuke taking an angle, and again, Sasuke's going to catch a couple of players unnoticing of this Hanzo. Tala finishes off both Smurfed and One Lonely Dio, and Ouroboros, quite like the well-known early on in this payload push, they're going to be trucking through the second point.
Yeah, I love it. Like, hey, we got to make sure like we pay a lot of attention. Jack the Bird. That's why you get the Reaper. That's why you have the Diva and the Bastion. But it really has been Sasuke on this attack so far who's been tearing them up. And that's why you see Smurfs try and match the Hanzo themselves. But they're actually me now. Talal is going to be all over them when they try and match the range.
Well, post bomb whiffed. Would have loved to get that if you were Tala. Now an important fight there versus Smurfs, and Tala's going to walk away with it. Commission quickly able to trade it, and that is a crazy one to grab from Commission. Jack the Bird goes down. Diva Bomb's going to be invested early for this fight, in the winning fight as well. It should just be cleanups now from the well-known, just stabilizing the second point, quite like Ouroboros did.
Yeah, this could be where they really start to settle down a little bit. They're going to make the swap as well off the Diva. Go on to the Ramattra. Force the brawl by the point. Especially when you get it through the tunnel. There's only a few ways you can really go at this if you're Ouroboros, and you're going to want to try and take that high ground. That's why Sasuke already up there, and Commission might try and take it personally.
Oh, Bionade onto the Winston. Primal Rage, though, going to break on through. Sasuke for the follow-up, and it is just pandemonium on point. Jack the Bird gets two. with that Primal Rage. Cheese is finally going to take down that Winston, but it is too late. 4 minutes and 45 seconds as they capture the second point, and looks like Tala fell from the server, so we're going to get a little bit of pause here. So we can kind of, I guess, pick apart what is going on in this series, Twin Salt, because, I mean, Ouroboros, it seems like as soon as they restabilize their Persona, not going down on the Lucio allows for that immediate re-hit for their composition, and Sasuke is playing out of his mind with a lot of these picks that he's finding.
Oh, Sasuke is absolutely absurd. And even, like, that last fight, they lose Tala during the fight. They DC during the fight, and they're still able to win it just because they're able to get a lot of value with that Primal Rage, regardless of the Bionade that gets hit onto them. And it was, like you said, it was, I think, the fact they went just that quick. The fact that their Lucio is able to live. I don't believe the well-known are ready for that quick of a re-engage to come on through, and it sets them up in a beautiful spot. They know, hey, we don't need to finish the map anymore. We just need to get it to that, 85 to 90 meter mark, and this series is done. Our day is over, and they can start preparing for the quarterfinals tomorrow. But, we saw it, how quickly that time bank, as awesome as it looks going into third phase, how quickly it can diminish.
Yeah, it's almost like similar to your, I want to say, King's Row even does get a little bit tough in that third point to capture as an attacker, but there's so many points that we have here on Hybrid or even on Escort where that third point is just, it seems like it's impossible, and this could be the case for the well-known. They just need to start to actually communicate their ult usage on top of, a lot of their positioning for these battles. They need to make sure that they're just not allowing Sasuke to get these openings that he's finding.
And at least, Tala is back in the game. Maybe Boger was just trying to sub back in from the bench, and that messed it up. You never know. It is high school Overwatch, and anything can happen. But One Lonely Dio is already gone. Like, Wesker, again, doesn't matter if they're on DPS or support, they're finding the kills. Everybody is
relentless there too. That is just Wesker and Persona just opening up a lot of this space. That damage from the Moira and the Lucio allowing for Talal and Jack the Bird just to clean up, and this is getting very close to last-ditch effort from the well-known. You see an artillery barrage hoping to maybe scatter these players. Persona's actually going to get caught from it. You get the swap over towards the Mauga from Cheese, hopefully able to put something together for the well-known alongside Smurf now on the Junkrat.
This is outright damage. That is their only goal with this composition. You have the Mauga, Bastion, Junk. You can hit a Bionade from One Lonely Dio. The fact that you're going to get burned very quickly from Ouroboros. You have to play just a little bit more safe. And Smurf on the high ground, I don't think people realize how deadly a Junk can be on the high ground of this map. It can be very difficult to try and jump up, because you can just do just that. Nice little mine to your face and just get out of the action right away.
Yeah, but he is unhinged from that spot. So now Smurf going to have to pick his battles a little bit better. Use a little bit of that geometry from the Junkrat to we find some of these picks for the team. Smurf low finds Talal, and that's a big one. It's going to force the Dragons. A little bit of ult usage for Ouroboros. It does separate some of these members, and Super Bad Kid actually going to be caught by the Dragons. That is such a bad pick to be seen from the well-known. Now Jack the Bird, a second one, able to stabilize here. Ouroboros, this could be their chance to put it away.
That is a disastrous first pick. If you are the well-known, you need your Kiriko in. They're just put the nano on the Cheese to try and delay.
Mission. Now at the Bastion. Not going to be able to survive past this Hanzo. Still in it is Cheese, but surrounded by members. Here's the Junk Tire. Sasuke low. 6 HP. Going to burn. Cheese still alive on this payload. Now for the overdrive. Here comes the Kiriko. TP's in to the rescue. Talal going to have to disengage. Now Persona holding on to this beat to get back into it.
The fact that Cheese never dies there is exactly where that nano goes in, and they're just such a scary force. If you don't have the health to try and push in, they're just going to pop cardiac overdrive. They're going to be able to stay up longer, and now just under 2 minutes left. They know that Smurf is up there, and that's why the dive goes in right away.
That's a good catch there. Smurf, though, able to disengage from that position. No more high ground to worry about. Cheese in it to win it here. Primal Rage going to be forced from Jack.
Oh
He's
my
burned.
God.
Now for the Dragons. Everybody separated from the well-known, but without a tank, you have to engage, and Cheese just able to go forward. The Kitane rush, and Hanzo barrels on through. Here comes Talal, finding it. It's a back-and-forth affair. Commission still alive, using the artillery barrage. Persona goes down.
Oh!
With the pull spawn, gets 2. Now with a minute 19, they're looking to finish here for Ouroboros, and Wesker looking to get the finishing kills here. Will it be enough?
I don't know if it will. Kitsune Rush into Cage. It should be able to get Jack the Bird, but not yet. They're living! What? Never mind. Okay. If they lived that would have been insane, but beat's used!
Yeah, the beat from Persona is invested for that late ends, and now only a minute left. Well-known somehow holding on.
This is an insane stall. You can see Cheese was just sprinting, or at least trying to get over to that point, and it's them and Super Backhead who hold down the fort. And now Smurfed onto the Pharah. This could get really tricky, actually, for Sasuke and Talal if they're not able to line up the shots, because there is no traditional hit scan on the board. But it's too late right now. You're going to try and hold on to the Dragon Strike. If you're Sasuke, you're 40% too. You're just going to have to try your best at it, but
Smurfed.
Wesker already falls.
That's the Kiriko. Down. Dio close to getting this nano. Smurfs fighting Sasuke. That's the damage off the board. Ana's in trouble, and Persona now sent back to the respawn. 10 seconds left in the well-known for the first time in the VESL one-off tournament. This could be our map 3 that we're looking for. Talal is going to be spotted. No chance for the touch. And they hold on. The well-known from out of nowhere on point 3 Midtown. You and I, we talked about it. It's tricky getting that to that golden box of victory, and they just could not get over the last hump.
That's an insane hold from the well-known, and I hope that, you know, the credit is given when it is due, because it is not easy, especially considering how Sasuke was playing during the first 2 phases of that map.
Yeah.
They were lighting it up every single fight on their defense as well, and the fact that it got eerily close, literally a few meters away from this series being done, the well-known being knocked out of this tournament, and no chance for any of that prize money. But now, all of a sudden, the power is kind of back in their court, at least a little bit. They're able to hold on after finally finding the composition that suits them. It is that Mauga comp, and even the Pharah. That is a brilliant late-on swap, because it changed everything going forward. There was no hit scan available, and the swap just was not in time. And all of a sudden, we finally get to go to Escort here for map 3.
Yeah, it's fantastic to finally see the well-known really stepping up there towards the end. It seemed like they had the right idea, too, with the damage comp that they swapped into. The Junkrat from Smurfed, almost adding that extra layer, that extra step for Ouroboros to have to worry about. You see that, you know, they have to invest a lot just to get to that Junkrat. And while it's happening, I mean, she's just sitting there laying down so much cover fire, allowing for, you know, the well-known to burn so much before the fight even starts. And it's just, you see it kind of going back to what we were talking about before with the comfort picks for a lot of these players, where you kind of swap away from the meta and you go to what you do best as a team here in this one-off tournaments. And that's in that moment where we finally see the best of this team. I want to see that continue with Escort, and it seems like the players are going to be taking a little bit of a break before we get to that map 3 as well. So that means that you and I, we can take a little bit break, rest our voices as well. So we're going to get that map all situated, figure out where we are heading to for the finale of these 2 teams, folks. Stay tuned for some more VESL. We will be back after this short break. Welcome back, everybody, to the VESL one-off Overwatch 2 tournament. My name is Seymour. With me is Twin Salty. We're now finally getting into an Escort, Twin. It does exist. Escort is a game mode in Overwatch, and we do get to witness it here on stream. So it's fun because this series versus Ouroboros in the well-known, albeit after the Lijiang Tower. I was a little bit worried for the well-known after how convincing the control tower did go for Ouroboros, but the comeback and the P3 hold from the well-known on Midtown, taking us to Escort. It's like this team is reborn, and now Ouroboros, they want to take us to Circuit Royale.
Yeah, Circuit Royale is the destination that screams to me, all right, we're going to see some snipers, and they want Sasuke to carry. That is what this really screams to me, which, honestly, it's part of the reason why you almost won over in Map 2, so I can't even blame them, honestly, for wanting to go this route, and even though they're going to be on the defense first, they will actually not be going to Sigma. They will be going to the Ramacha, maybe anticipating that a dive is coming in from the well-known, so that at least gives them a little bit more help if it does come in here from Cheese. But the issue for the well-known is, yes, you're going to have at least somewhat of a decent range to go against it with the Bastion and the Hanzo, but can you get Cheese effectively in and out of these fights before they get picked off? Because it is a lot of damage from afar here for Ouroboros.
Well, here we go. Escort, Ouroboros, and the well-known. Single elimination. Winner moves on. Loser does not. We're going to get commissioned back out on that Bastion right away. Cheese opting in for the Doomfist, and that's going to be tough to deal with a lot of this poke from Ouroboros, but commission gets around the edge, and Jack the Bird in a little bit of trouble. Cheese looking to disrupt on these snipers, and this payload slowly pushing down this lane. Lots of damage, but nobody going down just yet. Halal finally going to pick one as Dio to fall. The Mercy out of the way for the well-known, and everybody has to show now some respect.
But they do find the trade. Cheese will be able to find Talal. And now, wow, Smurf finds it. What an angle that was. And it just all turned around.
It is. And now Jack has to decide, can you stay alive? You can't. Sasuke should fall, but Cheese goes down. And Talal was able to do that. A little extra damage. That might be a recontest here for Ouroboros. Unfortunately, though, Dio does have Resurrection. So 3 members on. This should sail into the last point. Does anybody touch? They do not.
Honestly, if you're the well-known, you're going to take that every day. This point is historically, a 2-fight point. You're able to get it for just 1. And that is a giant win because Time Bank shows it. 5 minutes left, and Jack the Bird will make the Hog Swap. They find 1, but it's traded out so early.
I said this back in our first series with NYXL when we saw Palisades B swap to the Hog. I don't mind the Hog swap against Doomfist. If you can get that Pigpen into the right spot and you can really pick some of these members early, the Hog can be quite a threat. But here, mixed in with the Meteor Strike is the Artillery Barrage just to send them in shambles. Sasuke is going to fall, and Commission follows up with the other DPS, and that is a huge start for the well-known.
Cheese almost knocked everyone into the second half of Commission's Artillery Strike and then used the Meteor Strike to finish it up. There's a beautiful amount of communication there to get that working, and they're not done quite yet, Seymour. They continue to push on forward, and Ouroboros will have to hold on to this final corner.
Yeah, Sasuke finds Commission. Now Dragon Strike potential. Rez actually not going to be found there, and that's Jack the Bird coming in clutch with that hook, going to interrupt the resurrection, find Dio, and keep this second point intact.
Cheese, ooh, they should actually be able to get out very late on. 44 health to their name. But at least Ouroboros, they're able to settle down a little bit, but not after well-known. 84 meters nearly, and almost already done with the streets phase. That can be so tricky to work around, and it will be Talal trying to get some work done on this. Cassidy, they have both support ultimates and the whole Hog to work with, but Kitsune Rush could be something, but Jack the Bird already, these hooks are
That's
nasty.
the trouble. Off the Roadhog, the hooks.
Yeah.
Catching those squishy characters. Out in the open there, Smurf just steps 1 foot too far. And you have to decide quickly. You still have 3 minutes and 15 seconds, so you really don't have to engage right away here. It just seems like Cheese is trying to keep that space for the team, but she has to be careful not to get hooked into it. Still finding Jack, and oh no, the Dragon Strike, the Meteor Strike, everything infested from the well-known. They get through with the help of the Kitsune Rush, and it's just the hook. You live by the hook, you die by the hook. That's sometimes the issue with Roadhog.
Yeah, it's like, oh, if you can land those hooks, it can win you the fights. You can turn it all around. If you miss, you put yourself in a tricky situation, it can go very bad very quickly. And the strikes from both sides, you got the, Dragon Strike coming in. You got the Meteor Strike. Now the Artillery Strike going to be coming in soon from Commission. Oh my goodness, Bat Kid almost taken out early, and they are finished off.
Yeah, Super Bat Kid going to be found there by Talal. So for Ouroboros, they're slowly weaving themselves back in. Jack almost landing another hook. Big Pan's not going to have that much range on it, but it's going to take some time for the Well-Known to really dissect this play.
Well-Known are just going to try and hold on to high ground here with Commission, but that can get really tricky as, Sasuke is like, no, no, thank you. We're just going to jump up, Storm Arrows, already done, and that'll just delay this even further here for the Well-Known, who, don't get me wrong, they still have a very good time bank going into the final phase of this map with 3 minutes, but it can be, notoriously tricky to finish this map in any sort of standard, so it will continue to be that way.
Pigpen!
They had the Pigman set up for the dive. What?
Oh, that is just big brain plays from big brain players. Holy smokes.
I didn't even see it up there initially when Cheese goes up, and I don't think Cheese saw it either, and now the Artillery Strike will force out the Suzu, and it will find Sasuke.
That's a big pick. No mercy to res either, so your player down in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. This is where you can start your stance. If you're the Well-Known, Cheese going to be pushing forward here. Jack tucked in a corner, and that whole hog in the small room that you're finding the Roadhog in is going to be quite a deadly ultimate to match up against. He's going to find two with that ult. And again, Well-Known, they are stopped in this third point. Nowhere to go but back to their spawn. Robo Boogie.
I wonder, just a little Boogie, why not? A little bit of flair added in, try and get the vibes back together. And as I say that, the hook comes in from Jack the Bird. Smurf gets killed, and this attack is stalled even longer. It's like they're on the Ana, they're trying to counteract this hog, but it's been so tricky.
Big Meteor Strike. That's gonna find three. Oh, just Sasuke. Everybody in the middle, and Cheese will be traded. Dragon Strike's going to force Jack the Bird into a corner, but the Sport's not far away. Jack's going to be nice and healthy to continue to contest this payload. And without Cheese, you have to wait for your tank to come off spawn. Cheese opting in for the swap.
Yeah, a few swaps actually. Smurf to go back over to the Pharah that helped win them Midtown.
Not a bad
And as
play.
well as the Maga comes out with the Maga, I think it's a brilliant call against the Hog because you can just walk right in their face. It doesn't matter. If you get hooked, pop the Cardiac Overdrive, and you can just live.
Only issue with Smurf is you have to deal with this Caspian alongside it. The Artillery Barrage, will it find anything? It won't, but it's going to force Wesker into the open, and Smurf will open things up. It's trades back and forth from both teams. Persona taking down Cheese is going to give a little bit of an edge here to Ouroboros, but Commission with so much damage mixed in with the Pharah and the Kiriko. Finally, Jack the Bird falls. Sasuke the only one here to potentially do some damage, and a big kill there on a Commission. If you can find the Kiriko, it's a cherry on top, but here comes the Mauga to hopefully help out.
They almost find Super back, and do they live this? Oh my god.
Oh my.
They do actually live, and now Smurf is in the backline. Granted, they're going to have to back up to get some healing quick before this final fight.
Oh,
but
no.
honestly, Sasuke just hunts him down, though. That could be critical, as now they won't have the Pharah, at least early on in this engagement.
Look at that info. Low is going to be Super Bat Kid. Sasuke, another big pick. And here comes Cheese with the rush in. Jack going to be dropped with the whole hog in hand. Sasuke now contesting the point against the Resk. Lovely shots there from the Hanzo. Sasuke doing everything you possibly could ask from your Hanzo to hold things down in the third point, as Ouroboros going to hold them to 76.95 meters.
What is it with these teams just holding on at the very end of the final phase of these maps? It got a little dicey there for a little bit, but Sasuke continues to be the difference maker when they need it on Ouroboros, and main reason why that point was not finished off, even though I will say the first 2 phases of that map, Seymour, was all the well known. There's no doubt about it.
But you can't deny that, you know, this hog switch from Jack the Bird has been such an issue for Cheese, who
1,000%.
is so willing to force the Doomfist at the start of these maps. And I just, you know, the Doomfist was good for a moment, but as soon as you face some trials, I'd love to see... Excuse me, I'd love to see Cheese just be quicker to swap off that Doomfist. It's good until it's not, and that's when you have to realize that you have to make those changes.
Yeah, I agree. I would have loved to see the change maybe a fight or 2 earlier. Granted, I get it. He was definitely feeling himself with the Doomfist the first 2 phases, and it was working excellently, but once that swap happens and you get a little enclosed during that 3rd phase, it can be a little easier for the Roadhog to shut you down, and that's exactly what we did see. So now, well known, they're going to take the more traditional route on the defense here with the Sigma and the Widowmaker in play. The Symmetra, maybe not as traditional, but it might slow down some of the push coming in from Jack the Bird.
You just don't have that range from the Symmetra that you really hope for. It's like you're almost asking to be first pick as a Symmetra player. Honestly. I'm surprised you don't mix in maybe a Zenyatta to this as well, but I do enjoy a good Widowmaker, and hopefully we can see Commission really pop off with this hero as you're going to get the Mauga from Jack the Bird. First initial fight around the corner. Cheese in trouble. Sasuke is going to find the head of the Kiriko, of course, and now looking to stop this res is Jack the Bird. Dio in trouble, and that's both supports down so early. Commission beaten out by the Hanzo.
And they're able to find Commission, like you said, and yeah, it is just smurfed all alone, and swaps are already coming for the well-known. It did not work as Sasuke able to keep the long range going. And I love as soon as Jack the Bird realizes that, hey, the Mercy's sitting over here, they may try and go and res, charge right on in. No hesitation. Force them to fly back out to where your DPS can see them and finish it off from there. Commission's trying to get some cheeky damage in from the little peek hole here, but they've been spotted.
Yeah, and it seems like they're just going to let that point get captured. No real reason to jump over the cliff and just act like lemons to the fodder. So, well known, now looking to set up their barrier for this second point as Dio's going to land a Bio-nade, and Smurf catches Sasuke in the air. Now trying to jump into the deep end here. Smurf in a little bit of trouble, but he's got help. Doesn't look like Talal is going to chase that one down. Cheese is going to finish off the rest of these members. And well known, they're going to stop this really early, so that is a fantastic place to find yourself in if you're the well known.
Yeah, you can play the high ground. You can always jump down if you decide to. It's a really powerful position for the well-known to be in. And I like when some teams at this level, they'll be a little angsty and, you know, try and touch when they really shouldn't, like you said. But they wait it out. They wait for the moment. And yes, first phase is completed, but they're in a brilliant position here now in Streets.
Sasuke, Dragon Strike from behind. Jack the Bird is going to clean up a couple, and Commission's actually going to get caught by the ultimate. Sasuke is going to end up going down, but look at the confusion from the side of the well-known, as now you have to be careful here. If you're Cheese, you don't want to go down early while you're waiting for your players up respawn.
Yeah, honestly, Cheese is kind of just sitting there as like, hey, you really can't push up as far as you want to, but I'm not gonna push up. I'm still gonna let you push this cart at the natural rate. It's not worth it, but now cage fight in hand.
And the cage fight mixed with the nano boost. Oh boy, Cheese looking to rip and tear through these members, but the Coalescence keeping Ouroboros in this fight. The Bio-nade is going to be a little bit tricky here, but it will not last, and it will not really pay off for Jack the Bird. He's going to get finished off, and another stop here. Commission's going to clean up with 3.
I won't lie, got a little scary there for a second. The Kitsune Rush was used by Wesker to try and keep everybody up, and they survived the cage fight. That's usually where you're stressing out a little bit, but instead it's Commission sitting on the ledge, and they find the kills from there. Jack the Bird, they will return to the Roadhog. I'm mixed on this, because yes, it worked really well for your defense, But against the Bastion, well, the Bastion ain't a worry anymore. So
Yeah,
against
don't
the
worry about
Manga,
the
maybe it
Bastion.
could work.
Sasuke's just been such a menace here.
Oh my god, yeah.
So you're going to have to wait for commission off spawn. Sasuke finds another one. That's both DPS down for the well-known. Cheese has to turn around to help out your supports. The peel is good, but is it good enough? No. Talal going to find Dio. And the well-known just continuously holding down their S key, backing up to their spawn. Cheese has to be careful not to go down. It looks like this is going to be captured.
They're going to buff the overclock. They will actually try and get a touch in, but sleep, Bionade. Yeah, Cheese is gone.
Oh, yeah. That's that. Jack the Bird going to find two. Talal hoping to finish things off at the pulse bomb, but it is really the Sasuke show out here for Ouroboros. Everybody having their meme. I mean, Persona with his Ana swap and Wesker, the Kiriko using the Kitsune Rush at so many good times. Just backed up with Sasuke being an absolute goober on the Hanzo. That is just a recipe to success for Ouroboros.
Even with Hanzo maybe not being at, as great as it used to be, you can't one-shot a lot of squishies. They're still finding it. And Smurf, no hit scan, doesn't matter. Talal with the melee kill to finish off the Pharah.
Yeah. Bionade on Cheese. Orisa not able to stand strong into that payload, and it is creeping closer and closer to the finish line. Plenty of time in the tank. Can anybody stop them? Dio's going to try his best. The Ana frontlining. You have the Kitsune Rush. The Suzu's not going to land. Bat Kid's going to be caught. In comes the artillery barrage, and Cheese swaps the Junker Queen, but two not. That's the capture for Ouroboros. And the series in 3. Ouroboros taking Circuit Royale with a triumphant attack.
Just a beautiful attack, and it just left the well-known asking all the questions, and they did not have enough time to really find the answers. As yes, the Pharah worked the first time, did not work the second time, as Sasuke lived up to the name of, one of the best DPS we've seen so far in this tournament. You get the man on Hanzo, you get the results that you're looking for, and just like that, Ouroboros, they are one of your quarterfinalists.
And I love to see a team being tested in the tournament as well. I mean, we didn't really get to see that between Palisades B and NYXL. It was just full hold after full hold for NYXL. And, I mean, yeah, you want to really show off the DPS for that NYXL team, but they don't get tested like these members on Ouroboros. And to see that, a player like Sasuke can do that for such a prolonged period of time so consistently across the full series, it's impressive, truly. And, we were curious what it was for the swap for Talal coming in on that DPS role, but a very welcome swap there. And playing that Tracer towards the end very well.
Oh, the Tracer gameplay, yes, it kind of got hidden behind Sasuke a lot of the time because, they were the one that were popping off on flanks and doing what they need to do, but it was really Talal who set up a lot of those. They got them weak enough to where, hey, the headshot actually does one-shot the squishies like they used to, and they were all over the place and made sure that Smurf couldn't really match Sasuke at range because they had to deal with Talal. So it was an excellent game plan all across the board, and like you said, I agree. I like getting tested early on in a tournament if I'm a team. You're not just going to ease your way through. This way, you still have notes to take, and you know what mistakes you made to go into tomorrow instead of kind of just feeling, hey, the game plan, it's working. We're just going to keep going until it doesn't sometimes for teams. And I'm curious to see how Ouroboros will be able to continue marching on in this tournament.
You and I both want to see these teams do their homework and come out swinging in day 2. And for day 2, we got a lot to look forward to in terms of NYXL playing against Nerf Genji, Noobs and Boops playing up against Ouroboros. We just saw Outtex into that quarterfinal, as well as Newburn versus Winston Fan Club. So you and I, we're going to be heading into our next series after this break. It's going to be Sun Valley versus Outtex. I'm excited to see 2 fresh new teams on the broadcast. So stay tuned, everybody. You're watching some VESL here. Overwatch 2 action. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody, to the VESL one-off tournament for Overwatch 2. My name is Seymour. Alongside me has been Twin Salty. And throughout all of this day, we've had some fantastic Overwatch. Game number 2 was a little bit of a blow from NYXL over Palisades B. But game number 2 that we just saw, what a banger. All 3 maps goes to the escort. Ouroboros just barely scraping away with a win over the well-known. What a day of Overwatch we've had.
Yeah, it's been nice. We got to see Escort. It's not like a forbidden thing that's, not a thing here in VESL, but also, it's just what a banger of a match. All the counter picks, and that's what this level of Overwatch is so good, because the counter picks, teams don't hesitate a lot of the times. They're like, all right, we're going to swap to this, we're going to swap to that. It doesn't matter if it's the most conventional, and I think that's just been the beauty of it. And now we have one more round of 16 game for you guys. Sun Valley versus Outtex, and Outtex we got to see a little bit of yesterday. They did lose 2-0, but they admittedly were kind of forced into a Ryan team on the other side. They didn't really get to play what they wanted to. So I'm curious to see if that'll change a little bit here. But of course, we're going back to Lijiang Tower. There's no shock in it.
We get Gardens right off the rip this time. No Night Market to kick things off. So we see a Diva on one side, a Mauga on the other, and Hatsu going to be on the Lucio. So this is a chance for Sun Valley to get an early setup here with the Mauga, and Diva will struggle at this as soon as that defense matrix has run out. You can see the damage already burning through that max. So much from Sun Valley, just pushing on through. Everybody down for Outtech, and the round just started. I mean, the control point, it's only just unlocking.
My God, yeah, they just run over Outtex. They're already going to make some swaps. Who will go over to the Mauga themselves? Honestly, don't mind the Storm Pulse on the Genji, but I'll have to see if it actually works out. But yeah, Sun Valley, all gas, no brakes, push right on it. And McLovin is going to be key to this as well. They can descend the healing orb with the team as they try to initiate, and they can focus on solo healing electronic to make sure that Mauga is staying right and healthy.
Devo Speed looking for an off angle here with the Cassidy. Nice shots onto Triple United. Ashen, though, going to be able to stabilize into this fight. You see lots of natural cover for Sun Valley to play. Electronic, though, going down really early here. Who going to find the finisher there? Triple going into take configuration. Not going to amount to a kill. Light in the backline holding things down for Sun Valley. Will it be enough for the Reaper? Light going to be burned out. And the darkness on the point flips to Outtech. He finally puts a percentage on the board.
That was honestly really good, and the fact that they have the Ana, that is going to be the make or break for Outtex. If they can land the Bionade onto Electronic, there is no Kiriko on the other side for Sun Valley. There's no way to cleanse it away, and that will be their initiation button a lot of the time.
You have the Dragon Blade, too, from Storm Pulse. Looking for the go button. Close to the Nano. Storm Pulse forced to deflect early, but I mean, who? And Devo, the fight, I feel like didn't even begin. They were just backing up so much off the Death Blossom from Light, forcing them into an uncomfortable situation, and Sun Valley still holding on to 4 ultimates.
Yeah, I just feel like, Outtex, they have a setup going, and Sun Valley just ran straight through it. Like, even the sleep goes in early from Rated Kill God, and it doesn't really matter. Light is getting ran at, though, here over by Whiterun, but they are able to get out.
Artillery Barrage, will it find its mark? Doesn't seem like it. Outtech's going to be able to weather that ultimate. You have the Nano Blade, and here we go. Nano onto Who, though, so not used with the Dragon Blade. Who's going to be looking for this cage fight? Are we going to see it? McLovin burning through the side of Outtex with this Coalescence. Nobody left standing after Rated Kill God gets caught by Light. And this is last fight territory if they can touch. I don't even know if they will.
I don't know if they would be able to, as it would traditionally be Storm Pulse, but it's going to be the cage fight to try and get kind of Kudeki, but it won't matter.
Kinda Kitseki almost getting there, but Light's going to be able to catch that life waiver just before they touch. And what a start from the side of Sun Valley. off the back of that Lucio positioning in that first fight. They get a lot of percentage, and then I'm not sure really what it was that won them that second fight, whether it was Light's Death Blossom that really chipped through who through 3609, but I mean, they won that without really having to do too much.
Yeah, honestly, it was like, all right, wait, go button. And every time they hit the go button, Sun Valley were able to rise to the top. And that'll be even more of a factor here. Symmetra on the board. They're going to be able to TP straight over to point. It could get really tricky for Outex to push in.
Oh, yeah. Again, that early positioning from Sun Valley. Just, you love to see that proactivity from a team. Opting in still with this Genji. Swapping to the Orisa. We haven't seen a team today really pay off with this Orisa swap, so wondering if who 3609 can make this hero work as they're struggling to get really anything going on the outside. You have to worry about the boot from Hatsu as well, as they're going to detour back around the front. So they're going to take this fight from distance. Light picking away with those right clicks, who has to be careful of getting caught out here with this Orisa using those abilities too early. Here is the Javelin spin, and now in with the Golden. It's going to land a Javelin onto Hatsu, but it doesn't matter because Light now, the beam is charged for the Symmetra. We saw it earlier today. It is such an annoyance to have to deal with, and it doesn't seem like Outex are going to be able to withstand any of what was thrown at them.
This could get really scary, I think, for Outex. This is giving very much NYXL Palisades B vibes so far. As it's not the Doomfist this time around, it is just Sun Valley. Every single time they're running in, and the answers are running out for Outex. Even, yeah, they try and push in early. They actually have a decent start to the engage, but they're not able to find any picks off of it, and it all just tumbles down from there.
And they're struggling to really find this early damage. I mean, Sun Valley, they're just holding on to so many abilities. Here's the artillery strike. Teleporter gets some members to safety. And again, just no abilities forced out from Sun Valley. So they're just nice and healthy on this point. Coming up with the barrier soon is Light. Triple United intake configuration finds the better of the Bastion duel. Nice beam charged. Light, though, not able to catch that Mercy just yet. Who not able to withstand the cage fight match now. Resurrection, but his death sentence really for who. And now 20% left for a clean sweep here out of Sun Valley. They're looking to the respawners, and things are looking so dire for Outex. It is only a matter of time before Lijiang, and oh no, the spawn touch. That's BM at its finest.
That got ugly. Somebody's touching, though. Ready Kill God somehow got around the entire team. Is over on point. I don't think it's going to matter too much, though, as, yeah, they will fall. And what a showing to begin this series here for Sun Valley.
As one-sided as it gets, really.
Yeah.
Outex, they had an idea. They executed the idea, and it didn't work. On the other side, for the Sun Valley, they just looked so sharp in their positioning, in their engagements, in the way that they're playing together, and their ult usage as well. Using them not really sparingly, but just to continue to snowball a lot of these moments, just catching so many members in the open. I mean, you just look towards that cage fight. You didn't need to use your cage fight on that Mercy, but you did. And it forces the res, and that just burns even more time on the respawn for these players out in Outex. So I think Sun Valley, I mean, you don't really get better than that when you're trying to show up in a control.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. And the only team you gotta think they lost to in groups, NYXL. Which makes it put into perspective maybe a little bit more how well this team could be playing. Because in the event, if they do win this, 3 out of the 8 teams in quarterfinals will be from Group A. The only team that didn't make it in this case would be the well-known, who, as we just saw, just barely did not make it. So Group A is turning into the gauntlet of champions up there from yesterday. But honestly, yeah, that's rough for Outex. They have a rough series on stream yesterday, and this one's kind of given the same eerie vibes. But now they at least have the destination in their own hands, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with it now that I have seen it, considering what just got ran against them.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit worrisome heading into the hybrid for sure. We get a King's Row, so that's 3 different hybrid maps and 3 different series that
Yeah.
we've had in stream. Thank you very much, players, for a little bit of versatility when it comes down to picking what we see. But Scrims Row is the case for map number 2, and you kind of broke it down back in our last series when we were kind of theory crafting where do you want to go for a hybrid. Kings Row is just one of those brawling maps that you could definitely go back to the basics for a lot of teams. I mean, we see it a lot, especially, back last year with London Spitfire when they wanted to just
Yeah.
force the Reinhardt duel. You go to a map like Kings Row. When you go look to be comfortable in Overwatch, you go to Kings Row. So for the side of Outtex, hopefully they've been plotting and scheming on this map, and I'm ready to see what they're cooking up.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see what they're going to pull out because they have to be going here for a reason, right? Because they obviously know, hey, Maga can definitely be run on King's Row. It's not like, we're going to Numbani or something to where it can be very difficult to run the Maga efficiently. This is somewhere that, hey, Maga is going to be very comfortable. I hope they have something ready to go. They did play this map yesterday as well, so maybe it's just going back to a map you at least felt a little bit better on in your loss yesterday. I wonder, do they try and pull out the Rhine? In that case, how quickly does the shield get broke? Can you try and get the Valley before the Rhine kind of just turns into a squishmallow almost with no shield? And that's just a lot of damage coming in for that Rhine to try and deal with. So definitely some hope here for Outtex on the streets of England, but definitely a tall order considering the efficiency that Maga comp had on the other side.
It is a lot to ask because we even saw the hesitation to swap to Mauga yourself if you
Yeah.
are Outex. So I don't look at this series and think that Reinhardt, Orisa, Sigma would be an answer. Not even Ramacha, really, with the way that Electronic was playing on that Mauga. You have to find an answer for that first and foremost. And if you're not comfortable with Mauga yourself, that's fine. But then you have to look to the rest of your team as who is going to step up to hopefully match that against Sun Valley. But Outtex, I mean, who is going to be hovering in towards that Mauga? But I'd like to see that, they're already kind of thinking about ways to get through the Sombra, the rated on the Ana, ways to kind of get around, these issues that you found back on that control. But for Sun Valley, it's actually not going to be the Mauga. Electronic opting in for the Sigma.
This is a nice little bait and switch here. Seymour is going to try and make Outtex think, hey, the Moga's coming out, and they're going to try and mirror it with the Sombra, which honestly isn't even like that bad of an idea with the Sombra and the Sojourn. But instead, it's a Sigma, which can be very tricky to try and push into, especially when you have Triple United on the Bastion as well. It's a whole lot of damage behind the shield that you really have no way to push through unless you fully try and initiate. The hack comes in on the pylon, but yeah, they don't get out.
You hack the pylon, that's nice, but you have to worry about the Cassidy that's sitting right next to it. And that's Kutaki swapping from support into DPS for this game as well. So some swaps for Outtex between map 1 and map 2, but it just doesn't seem like it's been enough.
Yeah, I wonder if that first one, all right, get back into the DPS mindset if you're kind of Kadeki. Get back into the support mindset if you're Storm Pulse. But yeah, Hatsu, well, I guess you can just be both. If you're Hatsu, you're able to find 2 on the stagger picks. This is the time where I think you just need to put the strat away and swap. If you're Outtex, I don't know if it's really going to work, and yeah, there it is. It'll be actually the Zarya going to be the swap here for Outtex. So another tank they will be seeing yet again today. But honestly, the issue has been light is everywhere, and there's been no real answer for it so far. But Devo Speed gonna try and match that range.
We put a lot of focus onto this tank battle between Who and Electronic, but I really think a lot of it has been more so behind the tank for Sun Valley, the backup from Electronic, the follow-up there from Light, like you say. Definitely something you have to put a little bit of focus on. Rated finally going to get the better of that Cassidy, but here comes Triple United burning right through the bubbles, and Who's going to go down early, forcing the TP from the Kiriko. Triple United finds 3. A huge spree from Sun Valley, and that should be another stabilization here from the team.
No ults even needed to be used there for Sun Valley. They are just playing this perfectly. And kind of Kadeki, they're looking for them all the time in the back line. They're not even able to get hacks off half the time. before they get shot at and get out of the hack animation. And just, look at that. Light just finds him out of thin air and is able to get the kill down, and this attack is just going to stall even longer.
Yeah. Triple United on this Bastion has been such an issue when it comes down to who just hoping to stay alive. Immortality to keep this Bastion in play. I think Bastion going to get topped off. You still have 4 ultimates banked up. What do you do if you're out, Tex?
At this point, if you're out, Tex, you just got to try and build up all the ults you can and use them all. Not all of them, maybe 3 to 4 at once. Try to make sure you can at least get onto that point. Maybe, yeah, there you go. Kitsune rush into an EMP potentially.
Oh, here's the Gravitic Flux.
Oh,
and Kitake actually ends up going down, so there's no chance for the EMP to be used. Look at this damage from Electronic mixed in from the Larry. And now Tex, they tried to put something together, but it is a full sweep from Electronic. That's a team kill.
3 ultimates and nothing to really show for it here for Outtex. Yes, they have the EMP that they'll be able to use potentially with the grab here in a moment. That is what they have to bank on, but it is a very tall order considering Sun Valley. They're just not dying. That's it.
This is a good off angle now. They have a little bit of spacing, but
no.
Kitake again. First to go down. Here's the grab getting thrown. Immortality going to keep them nice and safe. Light actually finds the Bastion. Here's the artillery strike from Sun Valley. Triple United going to cut down. I think Kiriko. EMP knocked out of the air. 2 seconds left. No overtime procced. Sun Valley full hold. Kings Row.
Made a statement right there from Sun Valley, like, hey, even though, yes, we didn't win our group, we are one of the best teams here. A full hold against Outtex. Did they get any kills from Outtex? I don't know. We're in a very similar spot for NYXL on Blizzard Worlds, where I honestly don't know. They played it that perfectly from Sun Valley, and you put Outtex in a really difficult spot. It's like, hey, at least yesterday they were able to get to the end of the map. They were able to get it to third phase. This time around, nada. Zilch. And that can be a really hard pill to swallow, but you still got to try and figure out something. A tie is still very much on the cards here, Seymour.
It is. And, you know, maybe that means push. Just saying. Maybe that means a push. So
we're getting called out in chat. I guess
I
they
was
had
reading that.
Like
McLovin is giving us a little history lesson. Look at that. Light's like, forget about it. Lock in.
Lock in. But that is admittedly very good context though to have, especially for this team. Like, hey, if they were playing a 4v5, maybe that's why NYXL took them down. Maybe we'll put a little asterisk next to that for a potential later storyline if they do face off yet again. But for now, still got to take down Outtex. They will be going back to older Reinhardt.
Look at this. This is what I love to see. Hatsu on the Lucio, Electronic on the Reinhardt, and the box skin too. My favorite.
Oh yeah.
So
this just feels the soul. I don't know about you.
I am one happy camper. Let's go to the backline. Electronic pin storm pulls to the wall, and that should be that. Everybody dropping like flies. Sun Valley with a 2-0 in round of 16, moving forward into the quarterfinals.
Just like that, a little bit of feel for the soul on their way out as well. I love that skin. That skin is just so good with the box. But honestly, Sun Valley, you know, we talked about NYXL. We talked about a few other teams today. Maybe they're the team we really need to be looking at with a little bit more of a closer lens. They will lock in their spot into the quarterfinals with that. And they'll play Palisades, I believe, considering we're trying to get confirmation on it. Might be a DQ in our final game. We're still trying to figure out on the back end, but winner of Palisades DC crew, which honestly, Palisades, they looked good yesterday. But I don't know, Sun Valley, the way they're playing, I would be very afraid to play them right now.
I don't want to play Sun Valley. Simple as that. I mean, luckily I don't have to. But I'm sure other people who are playing in this tournament are looking at a game like that and like, ugh, for sure. I think for me personally, I would be very, excited to see an NYXL Sun Valley matchup again, but the only way that's going to happen is in the grand finals if Sun Valley can make the full run. And like you said, we're still waiting on the determining factor for a last match that's supposed to be showed on stream for this round of 16, Palisades versus DC Crew. We were told that there's a little bit of issues going into the camp of DC Crew leading into today's tournament, so we're waiting to hear from admins how that turns out. But for Palisades, I'm sure, if anything, they're looking for some revenge from their Palisades B team, because Palisades B didn't get too much playtime in their first match of the day. So I'm sure Palisades wants to get some revenge for their sister team.
Yeah, just get a little bit of revenge. Like, hey, Palisades still on top. Yeah, I think we're trying to figure that out currently, but we're going to go to a quick break to figure all that out with DC Crew and Palisades. When we get back, hopefully we'll have a match of some sort for you guys to finish out the night.
Welcome back, everybody, to the one-off tournament for VESL Overwatch 2. My name is Seymour. With me is Twin Salty for the whole day. I mean, we've just been running through this action. Now we get not what you may have hoped for as the viewers, as we are looking to set up Palisades versus DC Crew. It looks like DC Crew DC'd out of the tournament, and that's going to be Palisades moving forward to play Sun Valley tomorrow. But that sets us up with a little bit of a fun time now as we're doing Palisades versus Palisades B. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, just a nice little one-off map here in the one-off tournament. It'll be a map of Flashpoint, which, granted, we haven't got to see all tournament long because it's not in the best of 3 map. But hey, why not end it on a little bit of fun here with Flashpoint, especially because, hey, we're going to have some more of it coming soon later on in the week. So I'm curious, hey, how are they going to send us off on a good note tonight?
I don't know how they're going to send us off on a good note. And you know what? For Palisades, after coming off of DC, don't want to lose to Palisades B because you got Sun Valley coming up tomorrow. But I can imagine, you know, that these two teams have a lot of time played against each other as they are, you know, sister teams with each other. But for our first time seeing on stream today, Palisades A, I'm excited to kind of get my eyes on this team.
I am as well. As you can see, I will tell you this now. We did see a little bit of Palisades A yesterday. A lot of role swaps are going on. That is for sure. Mile Love on the Doomfist is a sight that I never thought I was going to be able to see. As yeah, everybody's spawning in, and this is just a whole lot of chaos. That's really about it.
It doesn't seem like Palisades B are going to be role swapping too much. Their own side, no, they're going to be running exactly what we saw them for their roles back against NYXL. So Mile Love, the Doomfist. Let's see if they can get it going on this tank. In for the Rocket Punch, finds nothing. Oh no, the hinder. Oh no, this could get a little bit ugly, but the hook is going to miss, and Mile Love gets out with just a nick of damage.
Yeah, honestly, kind of shocked that they got up, but they're able to live to tell the tale for now as their teammates over by a point. But yet, nobody really able to cap quite yet.
Here's the Rocket Punch there. Mile Love able to take down Insomniac. Some Rondo will trade out, but it's too little too late. Numbers for Palisades A will mean an early capture of this point, but nobody opting in for it just yet. And with the Roadhog still alive, some Rondo still should have a chance to fight for this one with the support behind them. So into the pit we go. Pigpen is down. Hook not going to land there onto the Ana. The Pigpen will be destroyed. First capture in for Palisades B, but they are losing members fast.
They are losing teammates, and they're losing it eagerly fast, as it'll be just the wall starting to cave in, as Zyphy will be taking, even though Speed's away, some Rando will be as well, as that should be the point flip for Palisades. As yeah, Insomniac, they're not going to stick around for too long. They're piecing out mighty fast.
Yeah. And 36% for Palisades B, not too shabby with all things considered, losing out on 2 members as fast as they did. Insomniac over onto the Tracer now. You have to worry about speed for the Widowmaker, so I imagine that this Tracer will be a good pick for closing the distance on that hero as fast as humanly possible. So looking to see how Palisades B works their way around this one. Speed's gonna be low, and Insomniac finishes that off. Traded though. Mile Love lands the hook, and that's a Tracer off the board, as Mile Love has swapped from that Doomfist. So big plays here from Palisades A as they even up with DPS for DPS. Now looking to run things down. The Suzu's going to be burned by Zyphy. Bionate onto Summerondo, and Rin's going to finish it off.
They're able to flip during this time, even though, yes, they're able to get the kills up on the high ground. There, yeah, for Swan, you know, it's touring around that point for so long. What a hook, though, from Mile Love. My goodness. It will just yoink Ryan plays across the flashpoint, even though, yes, they're able to gain 30 or so percent. It will flip back into the A team's favor. Now, Speed, I think people forget this is even a spot on the opening flashpoint of New Junk City. Just chilling above the point. Now they got the Inversight as well to help out their hog up front.
Oh, some Rondo. That is what looked like an alpha hook around the corner. But Speed's going to get the better of Ryan plays with that. With the walls, the Widowmaker taking down that Ana. It's going to spell some difficulty for Palisades B. Pigpen thrown down. Speed now looking to back up. Mile Love, a second one for Palisades A. Taking down Swan That's the soldier off the battlefields, and the first point captured for A.
Yeah, first flashpoint captured. They'll start making their way on over. That might actually... It's a little awkward here for Palisades B. They have to try and go the same way. My Love's just knocking them all away.
The bio nade should help things out, but the dynamite... Ren's gonna catch 2 with that huge damage from the dynamite off the Ash. And Palisades A, after capturing that first point, you thought with Love getting caught off that bio nade, it may have been Palisades B starting off strong into the next one, but it is Palisades A getting the early percent.
Yeah, Palisades A cap, but honestly, Palisades B, like you said, they could have an opening here to try and push on in. It is just Kieran over here on the point on their lonesome is Moreno almost snipes the hook through the middle of the flashpoint, and instead just gonna try and chill out for a little bit. There's that pulse bomb gonna miss.
The Rondo Insomniac though going down. Rhino, the Hana winning out that duel. Immortality gonna be burned for the Amp Matrix. My Love ends up going down. All the damage, not able to sustain there is Palisades A, but still fighting for this one is the rest of them. Speed gonna take down the Ana, and this is troublesome for some. Rondo, I don't know how Rhino is getting away with this, but Speed's here to help out, and on top of everything, the Baptiste alongside it, the damage is here, and Palisades A, they are fighting for every percent that Palisades B are getting right now, hoping to flip this one back.
The fact that Rhino lives is unbelievable during that. They're just 1v1ing some Rando. Granted, and Rando had the help of Zyphy as well with the heals and the cleanses, and it still goes their way after some backer comes in. They're still racking up the kills. They're just frontlining.
Yeah, I mean, Rhino is just doing the Lord's work for this team. The hook through the fence line. And this is starting to get a little bit ugly for Palisades B. The A team making quick work with these first 2 points. Only one more left to finish off this New Junk City flashpoint.
Yeah, we'll be going over to the third on Rin. Just taking it all in here for a moment after the second flashpoint is taken off. And now Rhino actually going to mix it up. Are they going to battle Mercy here, Seymour? Is that what they're setting up for us, potentially?
Why not at this point? Why not?
Might as well throw it on in. Add a little bit of icing to the cake. As we'll be at the Palisades B. They set up on the flashpoint very early on. So that's going to be Palisades A, who needs to push on into it. And also the hook goes in the favor of B.
Swan, a couple of shots not landing, but Rhino's going to be caught there in the back line. Nice shots from your soldier. And Palisades B now going to invest some ultimates. Insomniac finally lands the stick on the pulse bomb, and it's a huge double kill from that Tracer ultimate.
That is a massive stick, and Speed is going to get hooked in, and they're going to get ran down. Palisades B able to settle in just a little bit. And Rhino, yeah, they're already going to give up on the Mercy. Being able to attack a little bit more as a support is just a little more fun. So they're going to go over to the Kiriko as well to help out their Hog. It doesn't look like they need help this time. Hook some Rando right into the team.
Here's the whole Hog for whole Hog. It's a small corridor. Who's going to get the better? Rondo up close and personal after the hook in from Mile Love. It is Roadhog v Roadhog, and Palisades B walking away with that fight. Although we've seen Palisades A turn things around with their DPS in the past, this one seems a little bit too high a mountain to climb. So the respect is being shown. It seems like they're going to try to get in for a touch. Rhino lurking around. Do they touch? They do not.
Not able to get the touch in, and Palisades B not done quite yet. They'll be able to earn the third flashpoint of New Junk City and start making their way over to number 4. But honestly, they still have some ults to work with as well. Kitsune Rush with the Tac Visor at their disposal. The only one available for A is going to be the Dragon Strike from Speed. Maybe gonna, hone in their inner Sasuke, considering how that went earlier today. This is just a mad dash over. Yeah, why not?
I feel like at this point we can't talk about a Hanzo without talking about Sasuke.
Real.
Insomniac close to the pulse bomb too, so Potential for another stick. Has to be wary of jumping in deep. Speed almost getting the better of the Tracer, but forces them away. Now, 4 ultimates online for Palisades B. And the early capture, so some good percentage coming out, but Zyphy gonna get caught by the hook. Mylove gonna get the hook in on Zyphy, but Insomniac with another pulse bomb stick, taking down Speed and Rhino. Palisades B are finding form.
They are finding momentum here, Seymour, as that stick goes right onto Speed, and they unknowingly walk right into Rhino, who's trying to actually get away from that pulse bomb. Everything goes right for Palisades B, and now the Dragon Strike will be used really early. I wonder if that was just kind of an Eagle ult to make sure they could walk in and force Palisades B just to back up just a smidge.
Yeah, pardon the Red Sea. Nice hook from Samurando again. Bob's going to be invested way too early, and to no effect. It's just an easy disengage from Palisades B. Rhino's going to swap to the Lucio, hoping to get back to the team ASAP. You still have that Kitsune Rush and the Tac Visor to use together. So Swan's going to invest this Tac Visor. Do we see the Kitsune Rush? No. They're opting to hold on to that ultimate while Swan is finding nothing here with this Soldier ulti. Speeds it at the high ground and lands the shot there with the Hanzo arrows. Ryan Play is going to be caught there. 2 quick kills. Overtime Candle is procced, and this is a chance for Palisades A to flip it back in their favor.
Palisades A come knocking in like, hey, we're not going to give it up quite as easily yet, as the swap from Rhino onto the Lucio to make sure they get there in time bears fruit. And all of a sudden, this could be the last flashpoint if they can get a few more fights together. But the downside is they really don't have anything, Seymour, going into this. They just have the Dragon Strike. They have to play this purely around the hook potential of Mylove, who yesterday we more saw them, hey, popping off on the DPS, especially the Sojourn. They got to keep bringing that aim here to keep it going.
And we're coming up on another Insomniac Pulse Bomb. 4 kills for the last 2 Pulse Bombs he's had. Another chance for the Tracer just to pop off. Mylove misses the hook. And here's the whole hog now for Samurando, looking for some space for the rest of the team. Rhino backing up everybody from Palisades A, just trying to find some kind of stabilization for this point. And Speed's going to get Swan at the back. Pulse Bomb lands, finds nothing. Insomniac will still get the kill onto Rhino, and the flip back in for Palisades B. You have to touch if you're A. You have to get back into the point. Insomniac going down may be a way back in for this team, but it still trades in for B. They're still holding on to this one and fighting tooth and nail to push this one to a point number 5. Only Mylove on point to deal with. You're going to take down the Roadhog, and this is going the distance.
Why not? Add just a little bit more on there, Palisades B. They're going to bring us to a final flashpoint after a nice little hold. Palisades A, they try and actually, like, settle down for a second and then go on in, but instead, they are not able to bring it back around. It is Palisades B who bring us to 2-2 as we head to the final destination of this little flashpoint show match here tonight. And going to have some swaps to go with it. Mylove. Yeah. We saw a little bit of the Doomfist very early on. It's going to come right on back to finish off the map.
I'm looking here at the break swap to deal with the Tracer of Insomniac, who has been just a nuisance for the team.
I'm loving that. And, well, Speed maybe got a little adventurous over there, we'll say.
Speaking of, in goes Mylove, and down goes Mylove. So this should be a capture for Palisades B, as they're again coming up on 4 ultimates.
Yeah, gonna have ultimates galore, and it just seems like Palisades A a little comfortable, maybe a little loose after, you know, stressing about having to play DC crew and then not having a game in the end of it. But, I mean, some rando. Get this man on the Roadhog more often. Why not? They're getting the hooks left, right, and center, and it forces another swap. We're actually gonna see the JQ come out here from Mylove to try and push on in with that commanding shout. I don't mind it. Why not try and just bring a little bit of extra flair to this?
Yeah, hopefully, too, you can flip that high ground. Here's the commanding shout. Kiriko right behind, but they're going to opt to take that high ground. Samurando coming up in towards that whole hog. Rin going to open things up for this fight. Quickly traded by Insomniac, and look at that axe from Maya Love, taking down the Kiriko. It's going to force the whole hog from some rando just to hold on to this point. Some rando forcing them away. 15% left. Speed's here with the junk tire, but it's not going to take anybody down. Insomniac taking speed with the pulse bomb. And now with 3 seconds left, Rhino falls, and Palisades B taking the flashpoint in all 5 zones.
Our mini reverse sweep on New Junk City. Palisades B, yes, their run in the tournament may be over, but they get a nice little laugh over the A team here to finish out the night. Oh my goodness, what a little start on the pick there as well from Speed. But yes, even though they're done, nice little way to end it off is bring it all the way. Flashpoints 3, 4, and 5. Whew, what a nice little way to end it for them.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, you're going to sit there and look. Palisades A, it definitely looked like they were playing around with their compositions, trying to have some fun with it. A couple role swaps too, so maybe not playing at the full strength that we expect them to play tomorrow versus Sun Valley, but it's fun to see two similar teams play up against each other, where, you know, A and B, they probably have a lot of time played up against each other when it does come down to scrimmaging behind the scenes. So we get a little bit of fun to close out our day, and a little bit of Flashpoint too, because that should be the first time we actually see Flashpoint throughout this tournament. And we'll see more of that later in best of fives.
Yeah, it'll be great to see it once we get to the best of fives for semifinals and grands. But like I said, Palisades A, they were definitely loose in that game. You know, they were off-rolling. They were having fun with it, trying to at least enjoy, considering they had a FF win earlier in the evening. So curious to see how they do against Sun Valley, because, yeah, Sun Valley, obviously, they're probably just laughing along with us as we're watching that one. But it'll have to be the serious pants going on for tomorrow, because it's quarterfinals time when we get to Wednesday.
And Sun Valley looked dangerous. So excited to see what Palisades can bring in our next day, number 3 of this one-off tournament. And, you know, maybe if they want to kick off their day right, they can tune over towards advanced.gg and use code VESL for 10% off some supplements here, whether it's an energy boost, whether it's hydration, no matter what you're looking for, we got it all here at advanced.gg. And for VESL, a nice little code to be the cherry on top for when you're checking out. So you yourself as a viewer, maybe the players, head over to advanced.gg, show some love to VESL using VESL at checkout for 10% off your order. And again, I mean, we started off saying it, I'm gonna close it out because I am sweating under these lights. That rocket pop looks exactly like what I need right now.
Oh, 1,000%. Like, consider, you know, you and I were talking in the green room about it. You got national heat wave going through right now. What a way to kick off summer. You can have an actual ice pop in your hand and one in your drink next to you.
Why not?
Like, what screams more summer than that? I don't know.
Nothing at all other than Overwatch 2 one-off tournaments. That's going to continue tomorrow, folks. So if you're enjoying, make sure you subscribe to VESL for all the action that we have, whether it's during the off-season or during the regular season of these leagues. We'll be back with more action tomorrow. Some new casters as well that you haven't seen just yet, and a whole lot of fun that you do not want to miss. So for now, thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a great night. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care. See ya.